Welcome, everybody, to this meeting of the regular session of the South Kingstown Town Council. It is Monday, January 11th, 2016, our first meeting of the year. Yippee. So our first order of business, as always, is the pledge to the flag, and tonight we're very lucky to have two fine young gentlemen from the local Scouts who have graduated to be Eagle Scouts who are going to lead us. So Max and Timothy, please come forward.
Please stand and join us with the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, just stay right at the podium there for a moment. We have to embarrass you further. So I'm going to bring forward items 13A and 13B on the agenda. Item 13A is a resolution, proclamation honoring Max Hempy for, and I'll just read it out loud. Whereas Max David Hempy has devoted his time and his energy to complete the requirements of and participate in such a worthwhile organization as the Boy Scouts of America, and whereas he has devoted his time and his energy working to earn 38 merit badges and spent 8 summers at historic Camp Yagu, 12 days backpacking the trails of Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico, including summiting the 12,441-foot Baldy Mountain, and spent 5 days living on a remote island at Boy Scout Sea Base in the Florida Keys, these high adventures challenged Max, both physically and mentally, and he answered the challenges with vigor and enthusiasm. For his Eagle Scout project, he planned, organized, and built a bridge to help hikers cross Mud Brook on South Kingstown Land Trust Yagu Pond walking trail. And whereas he has attained the highest rank in scouting by becoming an Eagle Scout, bringing pride to himself and honor to Troop 1 Kingston, his family, and to his community, may this be a preview of his future dedication to a purpose and service to pursue until he accomplishes the goal that he is seeking. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of South Kingstown, do hereby extend our congratulations for a job well done and best wishes for success in all future endeavors. Witness my hand and seal of the Town of South Kingstown, County of Washington, State of Rhode Island, this 27th day of December. And we still need a motion to do that, I suppose.
Oh, I make a motion that we accept these presentations and move this to the point of the agenda tonight.
I second that. Congratulations.
All in favor?
Aye.
And on to our second proclamation here. Whereas Timothy Nelson Sheehy has devoted his time and his energy to complete the requirements of and participate in such a worthwhile organization as the Boy Scouts of America, and whereas he has devoted his time and his energy working to earn 35 merit badges, many through his 7 years of participation at Camp Yagu's summer camp program, he backpacked nearly 100 miles across Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico and fished, snorkeled, and kayaked his way around Big Munson Island at Boy Scout Sea Base. For his Eagle Scout project, Tim planned, organized, and executed the design and led a group to install a removable frame to hold banners and signs in front of the Kingston Congregational Church, and he led a team in preparing and painting 33 chairs, 4 tables, and 2 step stools used in the church's nursery and elementary school programs. And whereas he has attained the highest rank in scouting by becoming an Eagle Scout, bringing pride to himself and honor to Troop 1 Kingston, his family, and to his community, may this be a preview of his future dedication to a purpose and service to pursue until he accomplishes the goal that he is seeking. Now, therefore, we, the Town Council of the Town of South Kingstown, do hereby extend our congratulations for a job well done and best wishes for success in all future endeavors.
I'll motion to approve item number 13B for the resolution for Timmy Shea.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Congratulations.
Did I hear a second for that?
Yes.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously as well. All right. And that brings us, oh, we never did the roll. That's okay, though, right? Will the clerk take the roll, please?
Council President Collins.
Here.
Council Vice President Healy.
Here?
Councilwoman Clow.
Here.
Councilwoman Gledhill.
Here.
Councilman Veely.
Here.
All members present.
Now, item 4 on our agenda is the approval of minutes of previous meetings.
Motion to approve agenda item 4A and B.
Second?
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. Item 5 on the agenda is the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve item 5 on page 1 of the consent agenda.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries unanimously. Item 6 is licenses, and I believe they're all on the consent agenda. Very good. That brings us to item 7, public hearings. And the first public hearing is slightly different than what might be in your packets that you picked up at the front, so I'm going to read this into the record. This is a public hearing relative to an application requesting a proposed amendment to the Comprehensive Community Plan to amend the Comprehensive Plan Land Use Plan Map 2.3 by changing the map designation of AP 81-3 Lot 49 and a portion of AP 82-4 Lot 79 from residential very low density to residential low density, and by changing the map designation of the remaining portion of AP 82-4 Lot 79 from residential medium-high density to residential low density, as shown on the map below. And the map in your packet is correct. The parcels are located at 200 Gooseberry Road and 74 Port Avenue, approximately 7.62 acres. Application by John and Anna Dykstra, Irrevocable Trust, and Joanne K. Dykstra, care of David Dykstra, 130 Marine Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island. Do you want to?
Council to bring forward an resolution amending the agenda as presented to read as just read through by the council president.
I'll make a resolution to amend the agenda to what has just been read.
I second that.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. And
Just
anything?
for clarification, the changes that were made this evening are reflective of what was advertised in the newspaper and also what's reflected on the map that's included on page 5. There was really an error as far as the identification of the residential density, but nothing else. There's nothing material to the zone change hearing that's been scheduled for this evening that would preclude it from being considered by the council this evening.
Thank you.
Abel, I have one communication.
Okay.
A communication dated November 12, 2015 from the Planning Board recommending the amendments to the comprehensive plan as amended on the agenda and incorporating findings of fact and findings of consistency with the purposes of zoning.
Very good. And Mr. Packer, I see you at the podium there, so tell us more about it.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Donald Packer. I'm an attorney in South Kingstown. I'm representing the applicants here this evening who are with me seated here. Happy New Year to you all. This is a request to change the zone on the map designation, a portion of property that's north of Gooseberry Road. It's a spit of land that goes into the north. It's owned by the Dykstras and has been in the family for many years. This property is zoned R80. There's a small portion of it that's zoned R20, but the property is surrounded by R20 designation land and R40 designation land, and no one could really ever explain why this small section was designated 80,000.
Just to interrupt for a second, so we've broken this down into 2 hearings, one on the comp plan amendment and one, so we're starting with the comp plan amendment. I just want to keep it clear in their minds too.
Well, I don't really want to give two presentations. Basically, the concept is to change both.
Agreed. And I suppose what we can do is incorporate into the second hearing everything that was said in this hearing. But I just wanted the public to be clear, there's a comp plan amendment as well as a zoning map amendment.
Understood. So, following along with what Michael said, in order to change the zone on the map, we need to change the comprehensive community plan, which is a future land use plan designated by the town, approved by the town, reviewed every 5 years and updated, and so that has to be changed first. The proposal is to rezone both the R80 and R20 portion of the Dykstra's property. There is a small strip that is zoned R20 to R40. That would be consistent, R40, with the property to the east, which is an R40 development done by Tony Fiore recently, 40,000 square feet, designated zoning, and developed that lot size. There are presently 2 homes on the Dykstra's property. The total land area consists of about 7.62 acres. That would, under R80 zoning, equate to about 3 lots. At R40, they've done 2 development plan scenarios. One would be a total of 4 lots. That would include the 2 houses that are already there. There is a possibility to try and do 6 lots, again with the 2 lots, the 2 houses that are already there. That would require some waivers from the planning board. The details of the actual subdivision of the property haven't been worked out by the Dykstras. The planning board, as the clerk read, rendered a favorable recommendation on both the comprehensive plan amendment and the zoning map amendment. And reading through the staff comments, it seems to be kind of an anomaly that this R80 is sitting in the middle of much lower density zoning. So we're asking that the comprehensive plan be changed and the zoning map again be amended to reflect that.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Packer? All right. In that case, are there members from the public who would like to speak on this issue? Very good. Then I would entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
Make a motion that we close public hearing 7A.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 7A
Has amended.
as amended.
Yeah, as amended, and also what we want to do is incorporate into that motion the recommendation from the planning board, specifically that set forth in the planning board's letter of November 12th, and also is reflected in the memo to Steve Alfred dated January 5th. And what that does is it sets forth the motion to amend the comprehensive plan, and it also sets out for you 6 findings of fact. And so if the motion could include the approval, adopting the motion set forth, recommended by the planning board, along with incorporating their findings of fact, that's the motion that should be seconded.
Can I just say so moved?
There you go. I'll make sure Dale's got it all.
Thank you, so moved.
All right. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously and brings us to item 7B, public hearing relative to an application requesting a proposed amendment to the zoning map to change the zoning of AP 81-3, Lot 49, and a portion of AP 82-4, Lot 79, from R80 Rural Residential Low Density District to R40 Medium Density Residential District, and to change the zoning on the remaining portion of the AP 82-4, Lot 79, from R20 Medium High Density Residential District to R40 Medium Density Residential District, as shown on the map. The parcels are located at 200 Gooseberry Road and at 74 Port Avenue, approximately 7.62 acres. Application by John and Anna Dykstra, Irrevocable Trust, and Joanne K. Dykstra and David Dykstra, 130 Marine Road, Wakefield, Rhode Island.
Thank you again. For the record, Donald Packer. I would request that, excuse me, the council incorporate my comments from the prior public hearing into the record for the zone change application.
I think we can do that.
And not only will you do that, but you'll also incorporate the correspondence from the planning board as referenced by the town clerk in the earlier hearing.
I make a motion that we approve, oh, go ahead.
Well, we should, are there any people to speak on this from the public? Okay, now.
Why don't you officially vote to incorporate the record from the prior hearing into this hearing?
I make a motion that we look at item 7B and incorporate the motion from the previous.
Well, you're going to incorporate the record from the hearing on item 7A into this hearing on 7B.
Okay, I make that motion. Do I have to repeat that?
No, that's good.
As long as Dale has it. Then I make a motion that everything that is incorporated on 7A, that we incorporate into 7B, and I make a motion to approve page 5, 7B.
Just the
Let's
first
do
part.
it one at a time. We'll do the incorporation motion first.
Okay.
Second.
Great. So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now
That
you need a
motion
motion
carries.
to close 7B. Well, no, he did.
Right.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on 7B.
He
Second.
did.
Yeah. Okay, so that's moved. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. And one final motion here.
I guess I make a motion right now to approve item 7B, as all of the amendments have been incorporated, unless,
Right, so the motion's going to be to approve item 7B and to accept and incorporate the recommendation of the planning board in its letter dated November 12th to approve the amendment to the zoning map as presented, and as part of that motion that you are accepting and incorporating all the findings of fact, numbers 1 through 6 as recommended by the planning board, as well as the findings of consistency with the purposes of zoning as set forth in items 1 through 8 in its recommendation to you.
I make that motion as stated by your finding of fact and as recorded by Dale. I make a motion to approve 7B.
I'll second that.
So moved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, folks.
Thanks for coming in.
Item 7C is another public hearing. Public hearing relative to proposed amendments to the Town Code, Chapter 10, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, as follows. Chapter 10, we're going to add Section 1072, prohibited at any time between May 1st and September 15th of each calendar year between the hours of 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. on listed roadways. The property owners and/or residences residing on the main street or road may apply to the police department for courtesy exemptions to allow parking for family gatherings or special events during this seasonal parking ban. The roads are as follows. Lower Farm Road, no parking both sides from the most easterly point at the Blackberry Hill Drive intersection in a westerly direction for a distance of 1/10 of a mile to the second intersection with South Whedon Road. Matunic Beach Road, no parking both east and west sides, starting 50 feet from the Atlantic Avenue intersection where 15-minute parking is permitted, and continuing in a northerly direction for a distance of 2/10 of a mile to the intersection of Sheldrake Road. Ocean Village Court, no parking both sides from the westerlymost point at the intersection of Blackberry Hill Drive, easterly for a distance of 1/10 of a mile to the cul-de-sac at the end of the road. And South Whedon Road, no parking from its eastern intersection with Lower Farm Road southbound, and looping around to its westerly intersection with Lower Farm Road for a distance of 2/10 of a mile.
Good evening. I'm here in my capacity as chairman of the Transportation Traffic Review Committee. And what's before the council is a recommendation from that committee to promulgate a brand-new ordinance creating a seasonal no parking ban between May 1st and September 15th between the hours of 7 a.m. in the morning to 4 o'clock p.m. to relieve what we have identified as a dangerous parking congestion in the Matunic area. These conditions are created by overflow beach parking from the town beach parking lot on both sides of the roadway, where no parking regulations presently exist. The identified roads are, as you just indicated, Mr. President, Matunic Beach Road and the southernmost roads of the Blackberry Neighborhood, Ocean Village Court, Lower Farm Road, and South Whedon Road. Last summer, parking was so extensive all day long, it created a public safety concern as to the ability of public safety vehicles, whether it be fire apparatus, EMS, ambulances, as well as police vehicles, and there was a concern about the pedestrians parking, walking toward the beach through these parked cars. In all likelihood, these conditions will continue if it's not addressed, and that's the reason why we're before you tonight. You will note that the proposed ordinance also provides the ability of residents to petition the court for courtesy parking in the event they have family affairs in front of their houses, and we certainly will honor that. The Transportation Traffic Review Committee heard testimony from concerned citizens about this issue, and they provided the committee with a petition. I think it was signed by 21 residents. I think it's part of your package, if I'm not mistaken. I've had prepared a map, and I think I gave you a smaller edition of that map, which really defines the area that will be affected should you pass this ordinance tonight. And I'm making the recommendation that you do that because I personally viewed the situation last summer, and it was pretty bad, really horrendous. I had never seen it before, and I have every concern that it'll be repeated unless we take some action. And that's the reason why I'm before you tonight. And I believe there may be some representatives from the community who will speak in support of this.
Okay, great.
Unless you have some questions for me.
That's what I was going to ask. Any questions?
I just have a question. So if somebody who does live in one of those neighborhoods you said they could petition you if they're having a family gathering, would that just be a simple phone call or?
Simple phone call.
Yeah, okay.
That's all we'll need, and we'll certainly honor it.
And then what is the recourse if you do find violators? Is it that they get towed or ticketed, or what happens?
If a car is parked there in violation of this,
Yes.
they'll be ticketed.
Okay, I didn't know what the cost
No,
associated.
they'll be ticketed. You know, in the normal course of business, we ticket cars in violation of ordinances that exist.
Okay.
If you pass this, it becomes an ordinance, and we'll ticket the vehicles.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Vinnie. I will open it up now for public comment.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your time. My name is Jeff Eli. I live on 49 South Whedon Road. I want to thank Chief Espy for all of his work towards this. The last couple of years, there seems to be a progression of parking, and last year I think it reached its climax. It was really bad. I'm sure most of you know the Matunic Beach Road is a narrow road. There's very little room on either side, yet we had people parking on both sides, east and west, emptying their cars, wheeling kids down the middle of Matunic Beach Road with their beach accessories. It was really, I think, unusual and remarkable that someone didn't get hurt. As far as the neighborhoods where we are, once that road was full, people then migrated into the neighborhoods. It presented a problem with people getting in. I mean, those are also not very wide roads. At the end of the day, quite a few people decided not to take their trash with them and leave them on neighborhood lawns. We actually had one There's one empty lot, and one gentleman decided to empty his charcoal grill out on that lot, and so a bunch of neighbors had to run out and put the fire out after he had left. So it's a situation that just seems to be getting worse, and it's really due to, you know, illegal, or not yet illegal, hopefully you'll agree, parking. So we would just ask for your support. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kim Hansen. I live at 41 South Whedon Road. And I want to thank all of you and the chief and the traffic commission for putting this together, because as Jeff has mentioned, we had a wild summer this summer. The parking was unbelievable. The other thing I wanted to mention was, in addition to this ordinance that I hope that you'll pass, because of the size of our beach, because we had so many extra cars, the beach was completely overrun. It's a small neighborhood beach. We have adequate parking. When the parking lots are full, the beach is full. So I think that this ordinance will go a good way towards helping keep the beach population manageable and of the size that's appropriate for the space that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm Tom Hansen. I'm also from South Whedon 41. Thanks to the chief. Thank you for hearing us. I just want to reiterate the kind of the safety nature of this, particularly Matunic Beach Road. There were a lot of traffic there. There were a lot of people in the road, and it is remarkable somebody did not get hurt. Also, on the Lower Farm Road, it's a very narrow road. They parked on both sides. And if they needed to get like an ambulance in there or a fire truck in there, they would not have been able to get down that area. If the guys knew the neighborhood, they'd be able to know to go up and over and around and back and through. But again, if you weren't acquainted with the neighborhood, they would not have been able to get through. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Any comments from the council at this point?
I certainly heard from some residents from that neighborhood last summer, and it was of big concern. The cars were going up into the neighborhood, parking in front of homes, thinking they were completely fine there, but it really did bombard the neighborhood with a lot of people from out of town, and people streamed right down to the beach. And I love the comment about, yes, it is too many people for the beach when you have that situation. So I'm very happy to see this come forward as a resolution for this neighborhood and for the safety of everyone involved for next summer and going forward.
I think we heard similar concerns raised at the planning meetings for the Matunic Community Village Plan. So thank you for your attention to the matter, Chief. Do I hear a motion to close this public hearing?
I just wanted to make a comment. I had received, to the chief's point, actually several emails from people that live down in the area who have some concerns about parking there. So as somebody who has tried to facilitate those and work with the public to make a decision to come to a head tonight, I appreciate the fact that people have taken the time to come out to voice their concerns, because I, for one, think this has been a long time coming, to be honest with you.
I'll just make a comment. This is, to me, is a public safety issue, number one. Number two, you certainly have the right to enjoy your property, and this has sort of impinged that. And thirdly, Chief, I trust your judgment in these matters. Certainly I'm more qualified than I am, and the Traffic Review Commission. That's why we have them, so certainly understand.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing C.
And
So moved. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries unanimously.
I will make a motion to entertain approval of page 6, item C, for the Chapter 10 Motor Vehicles and Traffic article, stopping, standing, and parking as presented in the agenda.
Second that.
So moved. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you for your work.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
And that brings us to item 8 on the agenda, communications. 8A is a resolution adopted December 8th, 2015 by the South Kingstown School Committee concerning quantification of student assessment information and stakeholder reports. It's been received and placed on file. Is there anybody from school committee who? No. In that case, I would entertain a motion to place this on file.
We talked about this in the work session and agreed to place it on file in hopes to get additional information from the school committee. So I make a motion to place item A on page 8 on file.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. 8B is a resolution adopted December 14th, 2015 by the Charlestown Town Council in support of legislation on controlling blasting. And it's been received and placed on file. What do we want to do with it?
We discussed this in the work session as well in terms of item B for the blasting and looking at the controlled limits on blasting and the number of feet in terms of 500 feet. We had discussed that this would be something that we should place on file till we get further information from the town of Charlestown. I make a motion to place this on file till we receive additional information.
Seconded?
All right, so moved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. 8D is a communication dated December 14th, 2015 from Charles A. Sweet concerning sidewalks in the town. It's been received and placed on file, and what are we going to do with it?
We discussed this as well, item D, on concerning the sidewalks and the probability of sidewalks going further. I enjoyed the concept, and we discussed that, and I think the town council approved that this concept in all well, it is a good concept because at the present time, there are utility poles that are placed in the middle of sidewalks, and there are hindrances to people who are walking or perhaps, you know, having baby strollers and things of that nature trying to walk. And as an ongoing and forward basis to look at construction of sidewalks, this is something we should look at. But for now, this needs to be placed on file till we can have further discussion in terms of our sidewalk needs.
I second that.
So moved. Any further discussion?
I just want to say that in reading this, I think we all agreed that he had some great ideas, and a lot of these things we wish we could put in, but you know, for whatever reason might not be able to, but it's certainly something I think that I will refer to for future plans for sidewalks, because he really put forth some great ideas, and it won't be just on file, it'll definitely be something I reference and think about, so.
Absolutely, I agree.
Great. All right, if there are no further comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. Item 9 on the agenda is comments from interested citizens. This is the opportunity that the public has to come forward and speak its piece. Is there anyone who wants to say something? Any comments from the council? Well, on Wednesday, we will be having another joint meeting with the school committee to discuss the budget and part of our ongoing budget process, so stay tuned to that. Excitement. And then sometime upcoming soon will be, what is it, the 4th? We're going to be meeting?
February 4th.
February 4th, we'll be meeting to discuss charter revisions also.
Yeah.
There is another meeting, and I don't know the date for the Solari that's coming up for people in the community that are interested that will be held here. I just got it in the mail, but I don't know, Steve, you may have that date. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head. The Solarize.
The next Solarize meeting.
I'm just not quite sure of the date, but I know I got it in the mail, and I know there was good. Okay.
Okay.
19th. If I may, we were fortunate enough to have 2 Eagle Scouts here tonight. There was also a ceremony yesterday for the newest Eagle Scout, Louis Constabile, and he's not able to attend this meeting because he's back to college, but I certainly want to give him a shout out for a job well done. He did get his Eagle Scout badge yesterday, so that was,
But he is coming in the next one.
so hopefully we'll see him, but
We've been doing a lot of those.
Yeah.
With these kids in this community, they are
Impressive.
wonderful.
All right, if that settles that, we'll move on to the town manager's report.
I think you've brought forward the items we discussed in the pre-session. The only comment I would make is I did provide council with a multi-page report on tenant relationships and the different means that can be instituted to be able to provide better working relationships between tenants of housing authority projects and the housing authority itself. With that memo, if the council wishes us to go forward with any actions in terms of direct communications with the housing authority, staff can undertake that on your behalf. All we need to know is which way you want us to go. The memorandum provides a recommendation that you consider promoting the use of a tenant association rather than a formal tenant board of affairs. If that's acceptable to the council for me to relay to the housing authority, I shall do that on your behalf. I will also make a copy of the memorandum available to the Peacedale Neighborhood Preservation, who has asked for that research once it was completed.
Yeah, and thank you for the work that you and Amy did in preparing that for us. I think in the work session, you did a very good job of sort of summarizing it, and I think we're all comfortable with moving ahead. And
All right, we'll move ahead in terms of talking with the chair of the housing authority as to what the council's feelings would be on the matter.
I just wanted to say to that too, I know that, I think Therese Martin has been involved in being like a liaison with some of this information, and she invited some tenants to the PDNRI meeting for tomorrow night, just to give them some feedback and some of the information that you gathered to pass along to them. So I'm sure that they'll be appreciative of all this info, and I'll encourage them to take it into consideration and looking at it. And of course, anybody's welcome to that meeting too, if they had comments or wanted to encourage a certain outcome.
If there's no
And-
questions on it, I'd yield to the solicitor.
Yeah, just for your information, there had been an ongoing issue with debris and junk, et cetera, at an Oakwood Drive location. The help of Jeff O'Hara, we were in court, and the judge was very sympathetic to the issue with regard to getting it cleaned up, and an order is going to enter, and hopefully that problem's going to disappear now.
Thank you. And that brings us to item 12 on our agenda tonight, appointments. I believe we do have an appointment to make. Did you want to take that on, China?
Okay. Item number 12, a resolution appointing David Joseph Palazzetti to the Recreation Committee Board for a term to expire in, which I'm not quite sure, because I think they're,
It's June of this year.
I think it's, Dale, could you help me with that, please?
Let me say.
It's June.
of
The-
16.
The term expires, the current term expires, Janice Prochaska resigned, so June of 2016. It's a
Right.
3-year term, so would he be appointed to 2019?
Yeah,
Okay, as presented by Steve. David Joseph Palazzetti to the Recreation Commission.
I second that.
So moved. Any discussion?
All great applicants.
Yeah.
Great
I
for
know, this is,
Fantastic
so I
applicants.
wish we could take all of them.
This was
Or
a
have-
case where everyone that interviewed, there was not a bad choice out there. They, we really had some very quality folks stepping
Very
up,
good.
and it was not an easy choice, so. But it's good when you can't make a bad one.
No, and
They're great
and I would
guys.
appreciate and hope that people continue to hold interest to things of this nature, because it just shows people are so committed to the town, and it's truly a dedication issue, and it's very much appreciated.
So I would say any of the candidates, the applicants that came forward for this position, they were so great. Please apply for one of our other boards.
Indeed. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. I see the tree warden position is on here.
By state statute, the town must have a tree warden, and the appointment comes up on an annual basis in January. Each year, we ask the existing tree warden if he is wishing to be reappointed, and as Dale's memo indicated, he has requested your consideration.
I'll make a resolution appointing William Wallace as the tree warden for the town of South Kingstown for the year of 2016.
Second.
So moved. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say I had a tree on my property, so I had the good fortune of actually having to communicate with Mr. Wallace and dealing with it, and he was wonderful, and they took great care of taking the tree down and grinding the stump, and it was like it was never there. So I'm glad that he's staying on board.
He's as much an institution here as Steve is.
How much time left on his sentence, Steve?
It was, it definitely was.
All right, well, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do a little housekeeping on appointments. We have some reappointments here.
Oh, do we? Okay. And some reappointments.
I make a resolution to reappoint to the Assessment Board of Review, Mark R. Archambault and William Salerno for 3 years terms to expire in January of 2019.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'll make another resolution to reappoint to the Historic District Commission, James Garfield, for a 3-year term to expire December 2018.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Another resolution to reappoint to the Housing Authority, Patricia Breslin Filippo, for a 5-year term to expire October 2020.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, say aye.
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 And all those motions carry unanimously. Thank you all for your service to the town. Item 13 is new business. And 13C is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to Mill City Construction of 7 Old Great Road, Lincoln. This is for window and door replacement at the Peacedale Office Building, 1058 Kingstown Road, in accordance with all bid specifications in an amount not to exceed $67,024, including a contingency of $4,000, and as further described in a memorandum from the Director of Leisure Services to the Town Manager dated December 22nd.
As noted in Terry Murphy's memorandum, specifications were drawn for the replacement of the Columbia Street windows on the building first floor, as well as the replacement of 3 of the main doors into the building. The 4 companies submitted proposals. The lowest qualified presenter was Mill City Construction out of Lincoln. In reviewing past work, they've done several of the historic churches in Narragansett as far as window and door replacement, and come highly recommended. Recommend council award as presented in her memorandum.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve item 13C as stated in the agenda on page 10.
Second.
So moved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries unanimously. Item 13E is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to WB Mason of 99 Bald Hill Road in Cranston to furnish and install new children's room furniture at the Peacedale Library in an amount not to exceed $24,504, including a $3,196 contingency, and as further described in a memorandum from the library director to the town manager dated January 5th, 2016, and entitled Bid Recommendation, Children's Room Furniture.
As noted in the library director's recommendation, the library was successful in obtaining a Champlain Foundation grant in the amount of $32,000. They've gone out to bid for the specific purpose of replacing equipment and furnishings within the children's library room. 2 bidders submitted proposals. Lowest qualified bidder is WB Mason as presented on the agenda this evening.
Motion to approve agenda item 13E.
I second.
So moved. Any discussion?
I just want to say I have been in the children's room in the library, and that furniture is desperately in need of replacement. I'm sure that'll be a welcome addition over at the library.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously as well, and it brings us to the end of tonight's agenda. I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I second.
So moved. Any discussion on that matter? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously as well. And it's 8:17.